I was scrolling CurseForge one day and came upon this mod pack called Lingango or Lingago. Pronunciation aside, I decided to check it out. But not just that, I thought I'd take on the challenge of spending 100 days within it and trying to get as far as possible. There are tons of bosses I can commonly say you've never seen before, and about 1 million quests to finish. So let's see what happens when I enter this mod pack, with little to no prior knowledge of what is ahead of me. Will I manage to surpass my own expectations, or get absolutely beaten up by this crazy RPG? Let's find out. Here we go. As I spawn in, I find myself atop a tree with just about every notification possible popping up at the same exact time. A very warm welcome, if you will. But not all is bad here. We've got ourselves a humble little dungeon right below, and absolutely no trouble in sight. Apart, of course, from the Ring of 7 Curses that I'm so accustomed to at this point, I know not to even stare at it or I'll be paralyzed. Okay, I might have been wrong about there being no danger here, actually. What on earth is that thing below me? Has it perhaps escaped the dungeon? And after carefully deconstructing this eyeball man, I got my hands on some enigmatic dice, which in this mod pack is more like a lucky block equivalent. We do not know what it shall do to us, but it suggests we don't use it in the confines of our base. Luckily, I don't have a base, so I'm most definitely using it right now. Oh, I didn't explode. Very nice. Instead, I did get myself a little trinket. As for the dungeon below me, well, it's mine now. I want some loot, but I must do it carefully because it seems like there are turrets surrounding it, which makes sense, of course. Looks more like a prison to me, actually. But I did spot a chest, so I'm going for it. After carefully avoiding the nearby turrets, I got my grubby little hands on some loot, which I must say wasn't all too interesting, except for the fact I did find out that every ore in the game is locked behind a boss battle. Isn't that fun? So to ensure I'm not surprised by vanilla Minecraft mechanics being locked behind microtransactions, I decide to check out the quest book to find out that there are remnants of Terraria items in here, as well as just about every RPG mod you've ever played. Remember how I said this is a prison? Well, there's actually skeletons with sniper rifles just chilling on the second floor. Make that a high security prison instead. This thing is escape proof, Alcatraz, Fort Knox, whatever you want to call it. Maybe the Pentagon. Maybe I shouldn't mention the Pentagon actually. First night falls upon my head, so I had to retrieve into a little hole in the side of a mountain as soon as possible, because I've heard this mod pack is actually quite difficult if I'm not careful. So that's what I did. I got a hole in the side of a mountain, like in the old Minecraft alpha days. Cozy and nice. Probably some rats lying around there, but it's okay. And then spent the rest of the night looking into trees. For some reason, I must really love the great outdoors. Or maybe I'm scared of the great outdoors. I'm not really sure. My mother never let me play outside. Holy moly. There's guns in here. Again. Didn't think I'd have the opportunity to use those again for a while. I mean, I just extinguished the dinosaurs not too long ago. So these guns are definitely on the top of my to-do list right now. Another great thing I found during my research are hammers. Now technically my tool progression is locked past stone. However, I've already managed to go around the issue by crafting a non-vanilla tool that actually breaks a 3x3 area instead. I love hammering. One of my favorite things to do. Not to mention it also comes with a free backpack, because they know the amount of hammering I'm about to do is quite insane. Since I was still quite fresh into this world, I figured it's best if I find myself a civilization to yoink some resources from, because it's not fair that I can not just take stuff from other people. I'm not a thief, I'm just more like Robin Hood. And I did in fact find a nearby floating village. I think it's time to indulge. And yoinking is exactly what I did for quite a while actually. Managed to gather food, crafting materials, and some gear. It was all going quite smoothly. I even got enough obsidian to make a nether portal. Of course, I'm terrified of the nether, as always, but something tells me I'm especially not ready for it in this mod pack. To my surprise though, while borrowing some books, another dice dropped, randomly. This of course piqued my intrigue, so guess what? Of course I used it. And it spawned in a flying mount, of all things. At first I thought it was a predator that was going to eat me for lunch, but no. I own it. I am the predator now. What is that sound? Who did this? Who made this happen? Oh, that sounds horrendous. I had a really fun night with the villagers actually, but it was just a distraction so I could swiftly rob them of everything they own. not a single chest left unopened. Probably. Actually, I'm not really sure. While having a flying mount was really nice, I had a rough time figuring out the controls. So I just kind of kept floating around in the air for a while. Luckily, my brain kicked into overdrive and I actually looked at the controls. We can now also descend, which means I'll go check out a nearby house. That was so close. Oh, hell no. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. After that dreadful experience, I escaped the haunted house. I'm lucky to be alive. But not as lucky as I became when I found this literal train wreck in the middle of nowhere. It's probably something that stems from a create mod of some sort. Loads of blocks from create just chilling around the place. And some tiny spiders, of course. But it also had some very important and useful blocks. And so, now I'm stuck against a wall until I defeat the first boss. I have absolutely no clue on how strong this thing will be, but I have to do what I have to do. Now, how would one go about solving the issue of needing iron to craft something that will later grant me the capability of getting iron? Great. Tell me how that's even okay. Tell me why I shouldn't be losing my mind right now. Luckily, I did remember that I was able to craft an iron hammer, so surely there must be something I could do. And I did remember that very early on I destroyed one of the turrets near the dungeon that actually gave me a substantial amount of iron. I have to admit it's funny how nervous I was fighting this turret here. It has a tendency to glitch into its firing state and it kind of never stops firing. It also didn't help that there were skeletons under me laying down sniper shots while I'm trying to break this turret with a sword. It must look ridiculous from the side. I brought a knife to a gunfight. After I was done with that, I needed to find a flower to craft myself the iron remote which spawns in the first boss. Unbelievably, this took me way longer than it should have. How hard is it to pick the right flower? Seriously. After making the remote, the game granted me more armor, which I was very grateful for, of course, and so the boss fight could begin. Yeah, so it was a lot easier than I expected. Only one butt-clenching moment throughout the whole fight. Not bad at all. Not to mention I learned I could use this remote more than once, meaning I have a steady iron farm to come back to in a time of need. I spent some of the nights decorating the base a little, since I all of a sudden remembered that I never actually build bases in these videos, so might as well make my first base my final base. And also, so no one is super offended by the look of the place in the comments. Wait a second, is this a horror mod? What do you mean something is chasing me? How can it be chasing me? Within these walls? I would have already been caught. Turns out I didn't do a good enough job researching the quest tree. There are ore hammers, which means I will be able to double all ores from here on out. Unfortunately, I also forgot they cost 2 blocks each. 2 blocks of iron. In this economy? Absolutely not. Lucky for me though, I was about to have some fun with the dice in my hotbar. It's always a blast. Really is. Do they only give me good stuff or is it possible I just get one shot? I mean, who cares? Am I right? That's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. It turned me into an ant. I'm so unbelievably tiny now that I can kind of glitch my way into blocks, which means it's time to wall hack. It's time to wall hack my way to victory. Unfortunately though, it's only for a short while, but still very nice. And so just like any other opportunist, I went to loot the prison near me. Funny enough, this also introduced another fun game mechanic where projectile shooting entities couldn't actually hit me if I was standing at the same height as them because I was an ant. So this became a bit of a freebie. I ran around the whole place, taking out snipers and turrets, while also stocking up on all the loot you can find in here. The loot itself wasn't amazing, but the drop from the turrets will definitely help. And so when I was done with it all, I had a full inventory of valuable resources I could use later on. Some things that I will attempt to use on guns, and some stuff for late game as well. If you're wondering how it feels to play the game while being this tiny, it's not great. Not a great time at all. And what else turned out to not be a good time was the flintlock pistol I decided to craft. Now that thing was atrocious. It could fire one shot in 20 seconds. Like, what am I gonna do with one shot in 20 seconds? I'd rather make a bow at that point. Unfortunately for me, to upgrade said pistol to something I could actually use, I needed at least a couple of diamonds. And at best, this special nether ore called demonium. I'm sure as hell not getting that anytime soon, so... Disappointed, I went out of the base yet again to use one of the dice. This time, it just gave me a tome that I will probably never use. So, thanks game, really cool. In the back of my mind, I was still questioning what I got that one time, the magic book. Now, I don't remember where I got it, if it was a village or a prison or somewhere else. Honestly, not important. What's important is that I could cast this black hole spell, which by definition should pull in enemies. Now, I also thought it would do crazy damage, just because, you know, it's obviously so cool. After seeing what it could do, I went down the never-ending rabbit hole that is trinkets from the Tyranny mod, and there's a lot of them. Most of them I will never have, but I'm glad there's options. Having geared up a little, I thought it's best if I unlock gold as my next quest, so I crafted the next boss summoning item and went to face that foul beast. This guy's got a lot of health. Why do you have so much health? Yo, chill. Chill, my guy. Chill. Okay, guys, chill out. Seriously, come on. Where'd you go? Okay, this is really annoying. Why are you in the water, buddy? Okay, you're not even slamming the ground. Chillax. There you go, bud. See ya. I got more dice. Aha, more stuff. I've unlocked gold. I'm not going to say the fight was easy, but it really didn't feel like much of a problem at all. The goblin just had a lot of health. But I'm glad I've never seen these bosses before. It makes me feel like I don't know what to expect. And I'd later find out how truly unexpected it all is. Of course, me being me, I completely forgot to use the black hole in that fight. So we still do not know how powerful it really is. For my next boss fight, the game suggested I should make my way down and find some gold for gold armor, since apparently I'll need it. You'd be wondering why on earth would I ever make gold armor? Well, actually, there is a special gilded armor set in this mod pack that is gold, but like way cooler, better looking, and more rad, or whatever. So that's what I'm going for. Oh, and I also needed one gold ore. Being in these caves makes me want to be an ant again, and see through walls. Imagine how easy that would be. Gosh, I miss being an ant. On my travels, I came across this giant underground mine shaft, and I saw exactly what I was after, a whole bunch of gold ore. Couldn't write the script any better, honestly. I'll need all of that. Of course, I have to deal with all the zombies first. I did pretty much instantly get my hands on the one gold ore I really needed, and since there were a lot of zombies, I thought it's a good option to just leave, but something made me want to stay. I think I'll call it greed. So I kept fighting off hordes of zombies dropping on my head while swimming around in the water below the mine shaft. I even remembered I should try out my black hole spell. I'm sad to say, this is the most lame black hole spell I've ever witnessed. I mean, what even is that? Why am I just sucking them in and doing 0 damage? What kind of black hole does 0 damage? While collecting tons of resources in this mine shaft, I did at times fear for my life. It doesn't help that I keep making my life harder by literally stepping on monster spawners. I'm glad I'm aware and very cautious. The mining adventure over, it was time to face the next boss. The one boss I didn't expect would cause any problems, but unfortunately, it wasn't all that simple. Oh, okay, what do you mean? That's a lot of damage, bro. That is so much damage. Where's my flintlock? I'm gonna peace out for a sec. Oh my. Oh my. And I miss. And I miss. Dude, this thing takes so long to reload. Please be stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck at all. What is this? Dude. Wait, I didn't even craft better armor. What am I doing? What was my plan here? I think I can manage this without the better armor, though. I mean, he's not doing much. Okay, well, unless he hits me. I have a get out of jail free card. Okay, this doesn't work. I need to be like a little bit above him. Can you go into like a better place so I could... Oh, shut up. Right, right. You're so low. You're so low. Oh. Oh yeah. Bro, you just dipped? What do you mean? What do you mean you're a separate fight? Nah, brother. Yep, okay. Yep, cool. That's nice. That's real nice, dude. That's real nice. Let me try this. Another bird. Oh, wait, this could be huge. I don't know what these do, but... I don't think that's doing any damage to him. I thought I did something there. I thought I did something. Absolutely not. I didn't do nothing. Why are you here? What's up with that? I was actually stuck in my base. I had no clue what to do, but as anyone in my situation would, I just cooked up some food so that I could eat my stress away. He's got strength. Dude, I can't dodge these. I can't dodge these. I'm in the air. I'm literally freaking 30 feet in the air and you're hitting me. Oh, ain't no way, bruh. After the dust settled, I found myself a little sweaty. I'm not talking about my Minecraft character. I had sweat dripping down my armpit in real life because of a computer game. And funny enough, the next dice that I got gave me rampage potions. I have no idea what they do, but it does sound like I could have used them earlier, Mr. Video Game. Thank you for that. I had to face reality here. That boss fight was no joke, meaning the next one might be even worse. So, I have to prepare to the best of my very limited ability. And so I went ahead and I finally crafted that ore hammer, because this time around I want to be more than prepared. Every part of my kit needs an upgrade. My armor needs to be fully osmium, my weapons need to be both close and long range, and my mind has to be ultra zenned out. Otherwise my hair will go gray way before the age of 45. If I want any chance at this next boss, my next priority is definitely osmium. And as that is not a super hard material to find, I think it's time I do it. The one place I knew I'd be able to find some is under that dungeon, and lucky for me I was completely right. At least once in my life. Ran into some of the local wildlife while being down there. Had to murder. It is what it is. On my way back from the osmium mines, I ran into some endermen. But also this happened. After that intense musical break, I went upstairs and started working on my armor. I managed to somehow remember to use the ore hammer as well, to double my already insane amount of osmium. And with my armor in place, as well as an osmium sword I just made, you know, just to get that one extra attack damage, I was just about ready to start smacking the next boss, silly style. I feel like at this point I was fully prepared for my big fight. For some reason, I couldn't go to sleep. So the next day, I went to check out the outside perimeter to find a wild necromancer absolutely vibrating in a corner. And then he spawned in a whole undead army or something, or maybe it was just a big coincidence. It was a little freaky. I wouldn't say I was too intrigued on fighting the army, so I kind of just tried to get my food in order. I have just about nothing left to eat. So things are looking a little dire at the moment. And what is there to do once you have no food, but find multiple blocks of bone in your chest? You make a farm, of course. A big old farm with lots of wheat. Has to be underground just to make sure there isn't enough sunlight for the food to actually become nutritious. It needs to be dark and damp, almost depressing. Once I got my food, I did entertain the idea of messing up the undead army. But all I ended up doing was killing most of them and leaving one lone zombie in a cave somewhere so that the next wave doesn't even spawn. I really couldn't be bothered to deal with it. I really did have bigger fish to fry, and that fish was keeping me from diamonds, so it is a fish that I must, by all means, fry. Got him. Got him. Too easy. Have to admit the fight was intense, but nowhere near as crazy as the Emerald Keeper guy. At least now that I have diamonds available, I can get my hands on some enchanting blocks. And the specific one I was after was the Enchanting Infuser, a beloved mod of mine. One I would add to the vanilla game if I held that power. The only thing stopping me, from what I could tell, was crying obsidian. But before all that, I must of course have some fun with dice. Funny enough, I had stacked up 3 of them. One of them gave me a horse. Cool, but not cool enough. The second one gave me the Eye of Nebula, an interesting item, but not super useful. But finally, the last die spawned in a giant chest. It didn't attack me or anything, but it took very, very many hits. I kept smacking because who knows what I'm about to receive. And receive I did. A buttload of very, very good items. Some that were very useful, and even crying obsidian. It gave me the one thing I needed the most right now, which is kind of insane. But maybe it was just a skill issue the whole time. All that to find out that I was still missing amethyst. I thought it was some special amethyst gem, but no, just the regular amethyst crystals. I wouldn't let that stop me though, because I made myself a good old regular enchanting setup to try upgrading some gear. However, moments after, I thought I should first upgrade my armor for the next boss fight. And it suggested some sort of crystallized armor set, which seemed awfully complex to make, so I thought I'd rather just do something else. And yes, I promise I will make storage sometime soon. This place looks horrendous already. Unfortunately for me, I didn't see a path forward without the next armor set, so I told myself that I will make it. I never did. But at this point in time, I was convinced I'll start working on it, so I was messing around with making diamond armor first. Made another pair of diamond leggings, even though I had some already. Was visibly angry for a little bit, but that's fine. While mining for more diamonds, I tried out the new spell I gained from that same big chest. It was alright, something similar to a bow and arrow shot, but nothing super overpowered. Also found some weird fish, making equally weird noises. And then while mining some amethyst, I found out it's just been retextured, and everything kinda clicked into place in my little pea brain. While venturing through the dungeon, I came across a trial chamber looking structure, which I can only assume was an actual trial chamber. I'm not too accustomed to it yet, but I did dip my toes in. I only had a little trouble taking care of the mobs, but I won't say no to even more loot. Never enough loot in this game. Mending. Wow, I found mending. Life is good. Oh look, a mutant creeper. I'm not going within 100 meters of that thing. Good news for me, it's time to make that enchanting infuser and start leveling up my character. So that's what I did. Enchanted every piece of gear I had with the huge amount of levels on me. Even got myself pickaxe enchantments. Only thing that was still bothering me was my offense, so I crafted up a diamond spear and actually enchanted it to the maximum of my ability, like completely decked it out. Now if this can't kill the next boss, I have no idea what will. All that is left to do is craft the next boss summoning item, which actually requires items from the nether, so I built a quick portal down in the basement. I'm calling it the basement now, it kind of resembles a big basement. You know what else? Every once in a while when I was walking outside, I saw and heard thunder in the distance. Clear sky, no rain, but thundering in the distance. So ominous. So very ominous. Anyway, with that aside, it was finally time to enter the one place I never want to go. The nether awaits. And I need myself a whole bunch of items. Most of them found in a nether fortress, so that's my next mission. I also wanted to find some of that demonium ore, but that we'll do a little bit later. First things first, I have to fight the next boss. Why is the nether green? Since when does the nether look like acid? Oh hell no, what is that? Nah. No. So I kind of just chose a direction and started jumping. Even had to do some parkour over lava pools once in a while. Very parkour Civilization style. After about 800 blocks, I finally saw some structures on the map, so I'm hyped. And you can be sure I'll explore all of them because my loot goblin ways will never allow me not to. At one point, every creature in the nether was alerted of my presence. Luckily, my spear one-shot most of them, which is kind of crazy, by the way. The spear is actually so good. It does great damage, it has great range, really no drawback to this thing at all, apart from the fact I can swing it just about 3 meters an hour. On the way, I found this create structure, which was guarded by one tanky brute, but the loot inside was worth so much. I was actually ecstatic about it. I think I literally filled both of my backpacks full of loot before coming out of there. That's how crazy it really was. After looting my way through one of those piglin villages, I found yet another create structure, and by this point, I just know these things are going to be insanely OP. And so was this one, guarded by 2 chunky boys this time. Luckily, one of them just sort of sat down and let me smack him until he was done for. Kinda weird, I kinda liked it. And all this loot calls for a backpack upgrade, and I had 2 of them to upgrade, so we're about to be holding on to a lot of loot. I even stole some create blocks in case, I need them later for some automation or something. Kind of unluckily for me, I hadn't come across any nether wart yet, so I still had to visit the nether fortress. It says I'm in a radioactive biome. It better not be actually radioactive, or we're gonna have some huge problems. Oh yeah, look at that. A whole bunch of structures, and I see a fortress. Finally. The spear made me feel pretty strong. One-shotting blazes feels very nice. Only to realize I was farming blaze rods even though regular Eyes of Ender can't get me to the end. I didn't think that one through, actually. And so I made my way back home with many inventories of loot. After that significant nether adventure, the only thing I must actually do before I lose my mind is make better storage. And I mean, there are multiple things you need to be able to make this storage system, one of them being glass, which for some reason I thought I could get from soul sand. All I got was this. What even is this? But after finding some sand, I actually put together a nice little storage system. So that's covered for all of you in the comments who hate unsorted chests. Yes, I'm talking to you. I also came home with a load of dice, so guess what I'm doing? And why are they so explosive? Hey, they're really trying to kill me on this time around. What the hell's going on? My forest. No, my beautiful forest. Yeah, I can't stop that anymore. If everything burns down, there's nothing I could do about it. While messing around in my base, I tried mining the coal. For some reason it didn't break, but instead started sparkling. What's up with you, Mr. Coal? Why are you sparkling? And it just gave me 1 coal. Imagine that. Next on my list was the Netherite Boss summoner item, which required lava, so I took a little stroll outside to go find the nearest lava lake. When I came home, I started mentally preparing myself for the next fight. Also had a look around the gear I could upgrade to, and found refined obsidian armor. Looked really cool, but I was unsure if I'd be able to wear it if I did make it. And as a final measure before the fight, I also upgraded my bow, in case long-range weaponry actually does any damage to this one. What is up with my frames? Oh my goodness, what is happening here? I have like 30 FPS! Help! Yeah, after that fun little experience of not being able to look at my monitor without motion sickness, it was finally time for our last, hopefully, boss fight until the dragon. Here we go. I have quite a bit of range and quite a bit of damage. What? Excuse me? How does that make any sense, huh? You're going down, bud. Relax, relax. I said relax. What part of relax do you not understand? Done deal. Unless second phase? Nope. Time for the dice. And it gave me rampage. That was quite a unique fight, very similar to how all these have been so far, but I had a great time. Didn't get a special loot bag from this one though, which is kind of upsetting, but can't be moping around for too long because now the game actually told me I will definitely need the refined obsidian armor. So I'm afraid it might be time for some mechanism. Questline also said to make this table. It was purely for cosmetics, so I regret spending materials on it. I very, very much regret it. That same night, I was also hit with a blood moon. For those of you who don't know what that means, mob spawns are heavily increased and you cannot sleep through the night. So I decided to go caving instead, since I definitely didn't have enough resources anyway. But just before going down, I made the machines I could already afford, just a simple heat generator and a metallurgy whatever, the usual suspects. What I was doing was attempting to make wind power as soon as possible since I do not have that much burnable fuel to spare. I'm not burning any more dinosaurs for this. Of course, as I said before, I just didn't have enough resources, specifically redstone. Look at these ugly little spiders. Gosh, I'm glad there's a whole team of designers behind Minecraft because some of this stuff coming out of mod makers gives me the creeps. Not saying it looks bad, it just makes my skin crawl. Almost forgot to mention, an invisible nuclear creeper gave me a little surprise. I could only presume it was an invisible nuclear creeper because it definitely wasn't the regular one. There it is. I achieved wind power. Now all that coal is safe for now. Another important addition were cables, because I sure as hell wasn't going to keep all this machinery upstairs. It belongs deep within the basement next to my fresh produce, so cable time it is. And the recipes I used were interesting, but nicely doable. And after some cable management and setting up my wind power, I had a whole factory down in the basement where nothing could get to it. Very nice. Next step is to come up with all the rest of the machines so I could make that cool armor. Took a while to figure everything out, but we got there in the end. Yo, low-key, the horse actually kinda rockin'. And we now have both machines made and ready to go. The only other thing I need is a crusher for making diamond dust, because apparently you can't just use diamonds in their whole state in the machine we're trying to use them in. Here I was hoping that in an ideal world I wouldn't need more than 7 diamonds to make all the refined obsidian necessary. I was very naive, but actually kinda correct. The first piece of refined obsidian has come out of the system. Ladies and gentlemen, things are looking up. So I crafted myself obsidian pants, pants made of obsidian, which actually makes no sense in the real world, but we don't care about the real world right now. After a bunch of thinking for about 2 minutes, I decided I will also attempt to make a refined obsidian sword, because by default it has as much damage as my spear, even without sharpness. So that's a no-brainer, I think. And I mean, while we're at it, might as well make a pickaxe too. I've got plenty of levels to get it all enchanted. And after enchanting absolutely everything all over again, I now feel very strong. I feel stronger than your mom. Sorry, but probably true. I may have also noticed that there is a way to buy eyes for the end portal with netherite ingots, but I can't seem to access that option in the questline, so it just sucked up my netherite ingots. I was very visibly upset. Of course, you might not be able to see my facial expression right now, but trust me, it ain't good. And what on earth did the dice just spawn in? What is that? I hate it. I genuinely hate it. For the next 2 days, I keep looking through every single quest to see if I can find the eyes anywhere, which seems useless because where even is it? I realize it would be fine trying to find all the eyes, but just thinking about finding all of them without an explorer's compass seems absolutely ridiculous, and like something I would never want to do. I'd rather just buy them. As part of my procrastination routine, I started working on this rifle thing, but I wasn't going to spend my 6 debris only get 6 scraps out of them, so I just had to make a crusher. 1 trip to the lava lake and 1 wandering trader later, I had a crusher up and running. While I was sitting there watching my netherite get multiplied, I still thought back to how my ingots got sucked into the system without granting me a reward. I'll definitely come back to this in a second, because I have a side quest to complete. To even fire this new rifle, I need demonium shells, which, you guessed it, is made with demonium. Apparently, it can be found on the roof of the nether, so that is where we shall go. And on the way to the roof, I found this scary thing and gave it a little tickle from far away. Nothing much to it, really. Oh, and also the demonium is impossible to find. I checked almost every biome in this nether, not one piece. So as anyone in my situation would, I gave up and accepted that I might never be able to use that rifle. One die gave me a super special potion, so I had to give it to my best employee here to test it out. Didn't end too well for him, unfortunately. I might have to pay for the memorial service. And since I just felt stuck, I needed yet another side quest to soothe my dopamine receptors. So I went ahead and challenged this flying shark thing. Why not? It It did take me quite a long time to fix the quest so I could actually purchase the eyes, but we finally got there. It does say I've already gotten 2 of them, one because I already spent the netherite on it, and the other to test it, but I did get rid of it after. Now that I need 2 netherite ingots for each eye, the ancient debris hunt can begin, because we'll need quite a lot of it. Before going to the nether, I did want to get some waystones because I was very much over the lagging as soon as I enter through the portal. So I had a peek at ways I could get ender pearls. Turns out you can just get 16 of them instantly for free. It's funny. I somehow did completely manage to forget about waystones, something I could have used like a long time ago. Just a whole load of lagging later, I did actually enter the nether mines, and thought to myself, this pickaxe should be good enough, unless I'm wrong and stupid. At this point, I found out that you can randomly get dice while mining netherrack, and not just a little bit here and there, they drop very frequently. My first ancient debris. Well, my first ancient debris I've actually mined. Monumental moment for me. And the dice drops were out of control, literally out of control. But of course, there came a time I realized I wouldn't have enough food to survive this mining session, so I took a U-turn and returned home to fix that. But hold up, I have like 1,000,000 dice to use up, don't mind if I do. And guess what I get on the first couple of tries? Okay, not the lightning. I get this chest. Again, life is good. Right here, I thought I've just found the jackpot. This item says it makes me immune to hunger. How more perfect could it get for the netherite mining expedition? Not losing hunger? I mean, come on, that is just best case scenario right here. The other dice just kept giving me quotes to live by. That's it. That's all they did. And I keep burning down my forest. A lot, to be fair. That same day, it didn't take me too long to find out that the trinket only makes me immune to the effect of hunger that is applied when I eat something like rotten flesh, not actually making me immune to losing hunger bars, which just made me a little sad. But after another look, I found out it can make me fly when I'm around plants. A very interesting mechanic, actually. And not just that, it makes plants grow a lot quicker, so technically it could actually come in handy for making enough bread to go mining with. Problem solved. And look, it actually grows pretty quick. So I started to breed. I bred hard. And with my ancient debris slowly getting crushed into tiny little pieces, it was time to craft my first batch of netherite and buy those eyes that I absolutely hate collecting. I also managed to reclaim the old eye that I got scammed out of earlier, so all was right in the world once again. Back in the mines, I found out what the glowing ore blocks were all about. They make you capable of mining the same block over and over again until the effect runs out. If only I had known this back when it happened to a diamond ore block. Made me a little sad. With all this mining, I think I'm going to be rich in dice. So many of them everywhere, I'm scared to even use them all. Around this point, I felt like I might have just about enough netherite to where I could return home. Surely the dice will give me the rest of the ingots I need, and so I went back home to roll the dice. And let me tell you, these dice rolls were some of the worst I've ever seen. I did not get a single good roll. No netherite, super annoying stuff. And I'll tell you, it was back-to-back unlucky dice, and then back-to-back again and again. Yeah, that was not the best haul we've had. I think it might be time to return to some more productive ways. Oh, would you take a good look? We have all the eyes. Only cost me around 24 netherite ingots. Without mechanism, I wouldn't have gotten more than 4. I'll be real honest with you. And we're off. The stronghold awaits my arrival patiently. Oops, I forgot waystones. Okay, heading right back. The stronghold shall wait much longer. And I changed out my transport animal of choice. Feel like flying might be a little faster. On my way to the hold, I did find a little watchtower structure. Nothing interesting though. Was hoping for super rare shiny loot with a little glow to it, but no. Wait, did my eye just break? Wait, I thought they can't break like that. Hold on. And here I was hoping and praying that the portal has one more eye in it, or I'm going to be pissed. Anyhow, we managed to dig right into the stronghold, and it was something I've never seen before. It was genuinely majestic. So much detail, so much open space. Look at the grandeur of these halls. Makes me want to write a letter to the king, asking for his riches. One thing is for sure though, I have just about no clue where the portal is. I've been walking around for a while now and through what feels like endless hallways. I did spot a portal looking thing on the map though, so I'm really banking on that being what I'm after, but you can never be too sure about these things. No, I think I may have found our answer. There's an eye on a banner. This can only mean 2 things. 1, I get my eyes gouged out, and 2, the portal is in this direction. Wait, this lift is taking its sweet, sweet time. Damn, did I just end up back at the main? I'm back at the main room. What? How is that even possible? But I'm not gonna let that stop me. So I just dug towards the waypoint. What? Wait, huh? Are you serious? Wait, is this intended game design? Oh, okay. Half your HP gone. And tease, buddy. Ooh, you almost hit me. Oh, okay, how do I miss that? Okay. Bad game design. Bad game design. I was behind him. Come on. There we go. Weepee. Now that I've found the portal, it was time for me to prepare for possibly a very annoying dragon fight. And oh how much I underestimated it. I mean, I really, really underestimated it. And this is what I was built for. Slaying Minecraft dragons made of little cubes. Here we go. Wait, why is it at 1 HP? That's interesting. This guy's pretty intense. How much health? What, excuse me? No problem. Don't mind me. I'm up here. Wait, what is he healing from? Eh? Obviously, I came unprepared, okay? Surely it gets easier to kill later, right? It's just healing. I think my bullets are just healing it. Not my bullets, my arrows. Why is it just healing? Is it you? Is it this phantom in the air? What is it? Yeah, let's see if we can take out the phantom then. I don't get it. It has healed. It has healed. It has healed. He's just regening. There's actually nothing I can do. Apart from doom. After a horrendous display of damage and realizing I don't have a way out, I had to of course come up with a strategy. And my strategy was that I'm about to jump off into the void. Of course, technically I did die here, but I'll be able to come back after. And the backpack I put down and store my items into is still gonna be there, hopefully. And the way I plan on returning back home once I collect my items is a warp scroll that I started work on as soon as I came back. For some odd reason, it was significantly more difficult to locate any purple dye producing flowers. So instead, I got a blue one and a red one to combine. Genius, I know. And would you know it, my excellent escape plan worked. Got my loot and teleported right out of my imprisonment. This way, I could at least keep most of my things, apart from my refined obsidian armor and all of my levels. I'm mostly sad about the levels, to be honest with you. Obviously, I had a little visit of the Modpack's Discord to find out some tips on killing the dragon. Someone suggested I try making an enhanced infuser, so that I shall do. Obviously, for something that requires netherite ingots, I must dig up more ancient debris. Couldn't find a single one for like 20 minutes. But once I finally had found a couple, it was time to crush the debris. And of course, I had no idea that I already have almost a full ingot's worth of scraps, so safe to say, I'm not too proud of myself. After that whole mess, I went ahead and crafted the infuser. Did it add a single enchantment to the list? I don't think so. I think it was a complete waste of time, and that's how most things in my life go. But hey, it's not gonna stop me now. I have to go get a good set of armor and enchant it again. So, off to collect some XP. And shortly after, I got to work on that second set of refined obsidian armor. Don't think armor changes much for me here, but since diamond is almost 2 times weaker, I'm not going to take my chances. If I do actually find a way to do more damage, that is. And this tedious process could begin all over again. I didn't miss it, I can say that much. About a day of crushing and crafting later, I had my armor back, but still did not have enough levels to get all the enchants I need. For a little while, I also believed I could make this attack speed trinket that obviously increases my attack speed. And as far as I could tell, I only needed a couple of simple items, because there were some that I already had. So I went out into the forest to get fairy dust, because I figured these little fairies would drop it, and they did. But would you believe me when I say I miscalculated my abilities once again? Yeah, couldn't craft it all. Best I could do is make bracelets that give me strength for 5 seconds. And 5 seconds, that is not a lot. And I kid you not, I stood there going through every little side quest I hadn't completed just to scrap together some levels of XP. What a tedious process. Terrible, terrible idea. The only place I knew that would actually net me any levels were the trial chambers. So I gathered some more food and headed back down into the mines. And I was out there for a good long while, slapping things that came out of spawners and trusting the process. But again, I feel like I just didn't have enough levels. This last room I went into was a travesty and an absolute nightmare. Something I never want to experience in my life ever again. Back at the infuser, I found out I have plenty of XP now. Even when adding thorns to every piece of armor, it seemed fine. I was hoping this would do some damage back to the dragon in case it hit me. But I still needed more ways to get attack speed. I even started looking into getting spells on my spellbook. This is of course, again, something I should have done way earlier. But I felt strong enough leading up to the dragon fight, and honestly, still can't believe how not strong I was. I forget when I crafted this rifle thing, but I was messing around with it and it seemed like it was doing pretty good damage, so why not go for a spin? Maybe something will significantly shift in the cosmos and it will two-shot the dragon. Am I doing any damage with this? I don't think I'm actually doing any damage. Of course, no luck on that front, lol. Best thing to do now is to roll more dice. And oh how they have completely left me to starve out here. Not a single good thing again. Absolutely horrendous behavior. One of them even made me and things around me invisible for a very, very long time. Here's me looking at spells once again because I have no faith in anything else at this point. I'm losing hope day by day here. As for my spellbinding journey, I enchanted my armor with mana enchants because it seems this mod pack combines both iron spells and Ars Nouveau mana into one bar, which is epic, but also means nothing because I'm not sure if the spells will do anything for me. After vigorous testing though, I think it's once again time to test it out on the dragon. Surely something happens this time around. Each spell should deal around 10 damage and I can pretty much spam them. No way this goes south. And not a thing happened to the stupid dragon again. It is invincible to muffins. Is that the thing? Well no, actually it has massive regen that I can't get my damage to outdo. My desperation even led me back to looking for demonium on the nether roof. Is it supposed to be impossible to find, or am I losing my vision very, very slowly? I thought to myself, it is my only hope to find this thing. What am I going to do without a consistent source of DPS? Like it doesn't exist. Is there a specific biome for it? Surely not, right? It just doesn't exist. They lied. They lied. And you know what? I'm so beyond help here. I'll even put on the Ring of 7 Curses. It can't get any worse, right? Maybe I unlock some special items or something. And while the second half is true, it didn't really help me unlocking a bunch of new items. It didn't help me at all. There was this one book item that I knew would do a lot more damage to the dragon, but to get it, I needed a bunch of hard to get items. And the Heart of the Earth, which I didn't even remember how to get. So there's that. Yep, nothing I could do at this point. I've actually failed. This mod pack has bested me. So to go out in style, I geared myself up and went to fight the Wither in the Nether. And yes, I did in fact do 0 damage. Absolutely 0 damage. So as the final day comes to an end and I sit here taking a laser to the face, I want to thank you for watching my attempt at beating this mod pack. And even with my horrendous efforts, I hope you enjoy the video. I'll see you next time. Peace.